Think losing your morning wood is just part of aging? That's the biggest lie men over 60 are told, every single day. Let's get real. Waking up without a solid morning erection isn't just frustrating, it's a sign. But not the one you think. It's not about testosterone dropping or your age creeping up. It's about circulation, about nerve response, and about ignoring 3 forgotten pressure points on your own body that play a massive role in restoring your natural masculine rhythm. I'm not talking pills, not gadgets, and definitely not awkward doctor visits. This is something you already have. Your hands, your breath, and 3 areas that, when stimulated properly, can fire up blood flow, sensitivity, and confidence in a way that feels like turning back the clock. I'm Coach Marcus, a men's vitality expert, helping guys in their 60s, 70s, and beyond reclaim the spark they thought was gone for good. And what I'm about to walk you through is backed by solid science and real results. So here's what to expect. I'll show you where the 3 points are. I'll show you how to activate them. And then I'll give you 5 everyday tweaks that double or even triple the effect. But before I work you through them, if you care about your health, your performance, and your pride, tap that subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And hey, if you're ready to take control, drop a heart in the comments. Still unsure? Drop a question mark and let me know what's holding you back. Either way, I'm here to help. Let's start with something most men never get the chance to hear, especially not from their doctor. You're not broken. You haven't failed. Your body hasn't given up, it's just quiet. That morning energy you used to wake up with? It didn't vanish. It didn't dry up. It simply went silent. And with just a little attention, some breath, some pressure, and a few focused minutes, you can call it back. This is something I've come to understand not through textbooks, but through real life. Decades of working with men has taught me something medicine often forgets. Most of what we chalk up to aging isn't damage, it's distance. A distance between the mind and the body, between blood flow and awareness, between who you were and who you still are underneath it all. I've had grown men, proud men, sit across from me and whisper, "Doc, I don't wake up the same anymore. I feel like that part of me just disappeared." And I always say the same thing, looking them dead in the eye. It didn't disappear. It just hasn't been called on in a while. See, your system, circulation, nerves, sensitivity, it's all still there, still alive. But like a garden left unattended, it needs tending. Not chemicals, not machines, just reconnection. That's what we're about to do, bring it back online. And here's the part no one tells you. The most common response men have isn't just physical, it's emotional. Because once they feel warmth again, sensation, presence, it's not just pleasure, it's proof. Proof that they're still capable, still full of fire, still whole. This isn't just about performance. It's about reclaiming a piece of yourself you thought was gone forever. And that process starts with 3 points, already on your body, that act like hidden switches. You don't need pressure. You don't need force. You just need intention and your own hands. We'll begin there. The first step is simple but profound. Learning how to tune back into your body. For most men, that connection has been fading for years. Not because anything is broken, but because no one taught us how to listen. Your body has been sending signals all along. Not loud ones, but quiet nudges. Subtle cues. All it takes is a shift in attention, a willingness to slow down and feel again. And when you do, something surprising starts to happen. Energy returns to places you thought had gone silent. In a moment, I'll introduce you to the first key point, an overlooked spot just above the pubic bone. It's not one of those places people talk about openly, yet it plays a critical role in jump-starting male vitality. When approached with awareness and touch, it begins to stir something dormant. Most men have never placed their hands there with any purpose. But once they do, Many feel a response almost immediately, a sense that the body is waking up, that something real is shifting. Then there's a second area, even more hidden, even more ignored. It's the small stretch of tissue between the anus and the base of the scrotum. Some traditions call it CV1. Most Western practitioners don't even acknowledge it, but its importance can't be overstated. That spot acts like a gateway for blood flow and nerve energy. I once worked with Thomas, a Marine veteran in his 70s, who described the area below his waist as numb, like the lights were out. I showed him how to apply gentle pressure to this space, not with strain, but with stillness and breath. Days later, he told me something had shifted. A flicker of warmth had returned, a faint pulse he hadn't felt in years. That's what this point does. It helps release the internal grip that's been holding back circulation, tension, and sensation. Not dramatically, but enough to remind your body that it's still alive and capable. Then comes the third point, one almost no man expects. It's not on your genitals at all, but along the inner thigh, near the crease where the leg meets the pelvis. This soft, often ignored zone plays a vital role in delivering blood to the lower body. In Eastern medicine, it's connected to the spleen meridian. In modern anatomy, it aligns with the femoral artery and nerve. When this path becomes sluggish or tense, the blood flow to your manhood gets compromised. It's not that you're incapable, it's that the route isn't clear. Earl, a 68-year-old trucker, thought his thighs were only for walking and lifting. But when he began gently tracing this inner line with his fingertips, pausing on tight spots and breathing into them, he noticed changes. More warmth, more awareness, more fullness. A week later, he said something I still remember. "I don't just feel better down there. I feel like I got a piece of myself back." That's the power of this third point. It doesn't just affect blood flow. It restores a sense of control. You're not waiting on a pill. You're participating in your own recovery. Now, these 3 points on their own are powerful, but to turn them into a true system of renewal, you need to pair them with consistent daily habits. Think of the points as keys. They open the door. But if the circuitry inside is weak, you won't get full power. That's where habits come in. They reinforce what the body is relearning. They help the changes stick. One of the most impactful and most overlooked is breathing. Not the shallow kind we do when we're stressed or distracted. I'm talking about deep, nasal, belly-based breathing. Just 5 minutes a day of slow, intentional breath does more than calm the mind. It lowers blood pressure, raises nitric oxide levels, and softens the blood vessels. This opens the door for deeper circulation, especially to the lower body. Then there's hydration. After 60, dehydration sets in more quickly, especially overnight. A single glass of warm water in the morning can help thin the blood, reduce pressure, and boost flow where it matters most. It's simple, it's free, and it works. Another quiet disruptor? Sugar. Particularly the late-night kind. Desserts, snacks, sweet drinks. These create inflammation in the vessels and slowly damage the very tissues responsible for healthy arousal and function. Cutting back just a little, especially in the evenings, gives your system the space to heal. And when it heals, everything improves. Add to that the power of movement. You don't need intense exercise. A 10-minute walk after dinner activates your body's natural blood-pumping mechanism and keeps things circulating while you rest. It's gentle but effective. Lastly, the way you touch your body makes a difference. If you approach these techniques like a chore or rush through them with frustration, your nervous system reacts accordingly. But when you bring presence, curiosity, even reverence, something else happens. The body listens. It begins to respond. That's not fluff, it's neuroscience. The human body is wired to respond to attention and care. And when you show up with that intention, your results deepen. These small habits don't require a new lifestyle, but they do ask for consistency. When paired with the pressure points, they help turn a short practice into a living, breathing system that works. And for many men, that system becomes more than a tool for recovery. It becomes a ritual, a way to reconnect, to feel strong again, whole again. If you've ever wondered whether this can really work, you're not alone. Most men hesitate at first, but those who try often report something unexpected. Not just a physical change, but a return of confidence, of clarity, of something they thought was gone for good. Before we move on, I want to share something real with you. Not just the science or the techniques, but the transformations. The quiet, powerful shifts I've seen in men who took this method seriously. These aren't actors or idealized versions of success. These are everyday men, hardworking, aging, curious, sometimes skeptical, who gave this practice a chance and found more than they expected. What started as a search for physical improvement became something far deeper. They weren't just waking up with better circulation, they were waking up to themselves. I think about Raymond, 74, a retired train engineer. He stumbled across this method one night after another restless sleep, scrolling his tablet in the dark, wondering if there was still something left for him to try. "I wasn't hoping for a miracle," he said. "I just wanted to wake up and feel like my body still recognized me." That struck me, because what he was asking for wasn't performance. It was presence, a return to self. Raymond started practicing the pressure points and breathwork without rushing. No expectations, no performance goals. Just curiosity. Within a few weeks, he told me, mornings started to feel different. Warmer, more responsive. And then one day, he felt that unmistakable fullness again. No prompts, no pills. Just his body remembering its rhythm. And he's not alone. I have heard from dozens of men, retired mechanics, former teachers, grandfathers, artists. Some came in for answers. Others stumbled in by accident. Like Malcolm, 68, who said to me, "Doc, I wasn't even looking for sex. I just wanted to know my body could still respond." That's what many of these men discover. This isn't about chasing pleasure. It's about feeling present. About reconnecting with a part of yourself you forgot was even there. The biggest surprise for most of them isn't what happens in the bedroom. It's what happens when they look in the mirror. A little more steadiness in their walk. A calm that shows up in their relationships. Sleep that feels deeper. Not because of a supplement, but because of awareness, breath, and touch. When you wake up that energy at your core, everything starts to come back online. Not just arousal, but dignity, softness, certainty. And if you're still with me, I believe you feel that spark too. That small inner flicker whispering, "It's not too late. You're not too far gone. There's still more in you. More mornings, more feeling, more life to be lived with your full presence." And that's why the next part matters most. Because now, we move beyond learning and into living this as a daily rhythm. Something you don't just try once, but something that becomes a part of you. I've spent decades working with men in their 60s, 70s, and older. And if there's one thing I know to be true, it's this. The men who see the greatest change aren't the ones who get it perfect. They're the ones who commit, who keep showing up. Real change comes not from effort alone, but from consistency. That's how these methods stop being techniques and start becoming transformation. That's how healing actually begins. Right now, you've got more than insight. You've got a map. You know where to press. You know how to breathe. You've seen how a single glass of warm water, a few minutes of slow movement, and a shift in how you touch yourself can bring your system back to life. You've heard how a forgotten part of your inner thigh holds the gateway to fullness, how your perineum acts as a valve, how just above your pubic bone lies the quiet ignition point of your entire reproductive power. But knowing all this isn't what changes you. Living it does, making it yours. Turning these steps into a sacred part of your morning, not a routine, but a ritual. Not a fix, but a message to your body. I'm still here, I still care, and I'm not giving up on us. That's the difference between men who feel a brief flicker of change and those who come back fully into their power. I think of men like Raymond and Malcolm, not because they had the biggest physical results, but because they found their way back to themselves. They stood taller, they rested easier, and they moved through their days with quiet confidence, not chasing youth, but reclaiming respect. And if you're still reading this, I know you're ready to do the same. So wherever you are, whether seated, lying in bed, or just taking a pause, I invite you to turn this into something that belongs to you: breath, touch, stillness, consistency. Because in time, you'll see what so many others have discovered. That strength, that fire, that quiet pride. It was never gone. It was just waiting for you to come home to it. If this spoke to something inside you, if even a small part of you felt seen, understood, or encouraged, then don't keep it to yourself. There are men out there who need to hear this just as much as you did. So take a moment, tap like, not just for the algorithm, but to remind yourself that you're choosing to show up. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, because this is just the beginning. And if you know a brother, a friend, or even a quiet man who's struggling in silence, share this. You never know what that one small act could mean for someone else. We're not just talking about health, we're talking about reclaiming dignity. One day, one breath, one choice at a time.